Hey class, welcome to this would be your Wednesday notes. Make sure that you are doing the bell ringer each day. It usually goes over whatever we were doing prior. Online notes, Excel practice, online notes, Excel. There'll be some notes here from this video today. So let me go ahead and show you what we are doing today. All right. So we're just doing more multiplication practice. Let me zoom out. So I have 10 questions I want to go over with you. A lot of this is just a review of what we've been doing. I just want to make sure you have it down really good. And so that's why we're doing so many of these. So if you want to write these down, pause it, and then we'll go over it. All right, so the first one, we have x squared times a 6x squared minus 3x minus 1. So we are just multiplying this x squared times every term in here. So we have an x squared times 6x squared minus 3x minus 1. It's not hard to see. Let's see. Okay, so x squared times 6x squared would be 6x to the 4. X squared times a negative 3x would be a negative 3x. There's a squared in first would make that a third power. And then x squared times a negative 1 is a negative x squared. So that gives us 6x to the 4 minus 3x to the 3 minus x squared. Okay, let's move on to the next one. I think I need a darker pen. So negative 4x3 times 4x to the 4 negative 4x squared minus 30. So negative 4 times 4 is negative 16, and then add your exponents. So 4 plus 3 is 7. Negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. And then we add our exponents, a 3 and a 2, making that 5. Then negative 4 times negative 3 is a positive 12. And then we just keep our same variable and exponent. So that gives us negative 16x to the 7 plus 16x to the 5 plus 12x to the 3. Okay, and if y'all catch any of my mistakes, y'all let me know and I'll send you a shout out. Let everybody know that you caught my mistake. Because you know in class, y'all usually catch my mistakes. I just get caught up in the moment. I don't know. So 5x squared times a negative 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 6x minus 5. Okay, so we have 2 times a negative 2. 5 times a negative 2 is a negative 10. Then add our exponents, so it'd be x to the 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. And then x squared and x squared make x to the 4. 6 times 5 is 30. X times x squared is x cubed. And then negative 5 times positive 5 is negative 25x squared. Remember, if I'm going too fast for you, pause it, rewind, whatever you have to do. I'm trying to get under the 15-minute limit on my teaching. I know last week I kind of went over, so I'm trying to do better. Oh, well, that's on our first turn. I'm going to use my handy dandy rhino. Okay, so it's negative 10x to the 5th plus 15x to the 4th plus 30x to the 3rd minus 25x squared. Hopefully you can see that. All right, the next one is a binomial times a binomial. So this is where we have a box. So we have 3x minus 1 and 2x minus 16. Okay, so what I'm noticing about myself is that I'm flipping these. So you just decide which way you want to do it, and you just do it that way. It doesn't have to be any particular way. Like this one doesn't have to be on top, and it doesn't have to be here. Just make sure you have one on going vertically and one going horizontally. Okay, 3 times 2 is 6, and then x times x is x squared. 3 times a negative 16 is a negative 48, and then we just have one x. So negative 48x. Negative 1 times a positive 2x. Negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 16 is positive 16. And what I talked to y'all about in the last notes was this. You add those. So we have 6x squared, negative 48, and then negative 2x is a negative 50x plus 16. So what I was telling y'all in the last notes was that since these are both x's, they're like terms. And so it's like I do negative 48x and a negative 2x. And that's how I get that negative 50x. So the next one, 2y plus 4 and then y minus 8. So 2y plus 4. Y minus 8. So 2y times y is 2y squared. 2y times a negative 8, negative 16y. 4 times y is positive 4y. 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. Okay, and then look here, we have like terms. We have a negative 16y and a positive 4y. So that's our middle term. So we have 2y squared minus 12y minus 32. Okay, next one. We have negative x and a positive 12. And then a 2x squared plus 3. So that is a negative 2, and then we have an x and x squared, making the x 3. 3 times a negative x would be negative 3x. 2 times 12 is 24, and then it's an x squared. 12 times 3 is 36. Okay, let's look at those diagonals. Usually I circle them because we can combine them. This is an x and this is x squared, so I cannot combine. I can't combine anything, actually, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Negative 2x to the third power and do it in greatest to least exponent. So it'd be plus 24x squared minus 3x plus 36. And that's how I would leave it. Okay. All right, I have 4 more examples, making it a total of 10. So let's look at number 7. We have x to the 4, or x plus 4, sorry, times a 2x squared plus 6x minus 4. There we go. So 2x squared times x would make that 2. You have an x squared and an x. You would add your exponents, making that a third power. X times 6x is 6x squared. X times a negative 4 is just negative 4x. 4 times 2 is 8. And then you just tack on the x squared because there's no other x over here. 4 times 6 is 24. And then just be regular x. And then 4 times a negative 4 is a negative 16. Okay, on this, let's see if we have any like terms. So we actually have an x squared right there. And then we also have just a regular x. So we actually have 2 that we can combine. So the 2x cubed stays like that. And then we have an 8x and a 6x squared. 8x squared and a 6x squared, making that a 14x squared. And then a 24x minus 4x, making that a 20x minus 16. Okay, number 8 says, what is the volume of the prism? Okay, so to do the volume of a prism, it is length times width times height. So it would be this times this times this. So volume equals x plus 6 times x plus 1 times x plus 2. So you need to multiply 2 together and then multiply the next one. So x plus 6, I'm going to do this over here. Okay, so x plus 6, x plus 1. So x times x is x squared. X times 1 is 1x. X times 6 is 6x. And 6 times 1 is 6. So we could combine these two, and we get x squared plus 6x and a 1x makes 7x plus 6. Okay, so that is what's going to go and replace the x plus 6 times x plus 1. So now we have x squared plus 7x plus 6 times x plus 2. Okay, so now we need to do that multiplication. So we are going to do x squared plus 7x plus 6. You don't need the plus. I don't know why I did that. And surely L's boxes are better than that. Let's just do it. There we go. Okay, so x times x squared is x to the third power. X times 7x is 7x squared. 6 times x is 6x. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 7x is 14x. And 2 times 6 is 12. So then we look and see what can we combine, and we can combine these x squareds and the x's together. So our volume equals x cubed plus, we have a 7x squared and a 2x squared, making that 9x squared. 6x plus 14x is a 20x, and then plus 12. Sorry, couldn't put that all the way on there. Didn't give myself enough room. Okay, just 2 more problems. Y'all stay with me. Okay, go ahead and copy those down if you want to try them, and then pause it, and then I'll go over it with you. Okay, so on this one, the first thing we want to do is 8x plus 1 and x minus 3. Doesn't matter what order you do it, remember, you'll still come out with the same solution. 8x times x is 8x squared. X times 1 is x, or 1x. 8 times a negative 3 is a negative 24x. And negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. So I can combine these two, and this becomes 8x squared minus, we have a 1 and a negative 24, making that negative 23x minus 3. And then now we're multiplying this negative x, or negative 1x, times each one of these. So you could do negative 1x times the 4x plus 1, which gives you a negative 4x squared and a negative 1x. So that's what we'll write in place of this. So negative 4x squared, negative 1x. Then I would combine like terms. I have an x squared here and an x squared here, making that 4x squared. Then I have negative 23x and a negative 1x, making that negative 24x. And then just minus 30 by itself. Okay. So that is the most simplified version. Okay, last one. Okay, this is just 2xy times each one of those. So I'm going to write 2xy here. And then this is x squared minus 6xy, and then y squared. Okay. So this would be 2 X times x squared, making that x cubed, and y. 2 times a negative 6 is negative 12. X times x is x squared. Y times y is y squared. And then 2, there's no other coefficient. X, and then y and y squared would be y cubed. So our most simplified version is 2x cubed y minus 12x squared y squared plus 2xy cubed. That's it. All right, so that is the end of your notes for this week. Y'all make sure to do your IXL, and y'all have a great day. Bye.